Good afternoon again. For the sake of transparency, I'm a martial arts instructor. Mostly I teach what we call hard forms or hard styles. Japanese traditional karate, jiu-jitsu, and Okinawan weapons. I've been doing that for 50 years. I started doing Tai Chi 30 years ago. I had sustained an injury. I had broken my hand in a number of places, karate injury. And I was taking some time out of the dojo. I was going at the time to the Cambridge YMCA and using the bikes, doing what I could do, stretching, but staying away from any sort of hard practice. My hand was in a cast. So one morning I'm in the Cambridge Y and I go through the gymnasium and there is an elderly gentleman. He's standing on the court. He's wearing really baggy clothes, a little Chinese gentleman, and he's doing what I knew was a Tai Chi form. I had never done a Tai Chi form. I had never seen it done live, but I had seen videos and, in movies and so forth. So I knew that's what it was. And I stopped and I watched this gentleman. And his movements were so beautiful and so powerful. I mean, you could really feel from across the court that this gentleman was strong and he was moving a lot of energy. And beautiful, beautiful. And I thought to myself, I would love to be able to move that way. My movements were strong, but they were choppy. My movements were strong, but they were all explosive. They lacked fluidity, because that's what the hard styles do. But this gentleman never stopped. He was, as I had said before, moving like a fish in water, except he was doing it on the ground. Remarkable. After he stopped, he bowed to the backboard, as is traditional. And I went over to him and I said, "May I speak with you?" And he granted me permission. We began talking and he said, "You should come to my studio. It's in Boston. If you're interested, take a lesson." And so I did, and I never stopped. It never took the place of the hard styles, but it was a beautiful, beautiful addition to what I did. And he taught both the long forms and the short forms. And so we begin today the short form. We always begin by bowing to the front. This is an ancestor worship, after all. Thank you, ancestors, for giving us this beautiful practice. Okay, that's just a few little movements. Suppose that you're observing this class, you like it, you can feel it, that's the most important thing. What are you feeling? It's not about developing a lot of content. It's about understanding the little content that you may have. Then something happens, you can't come to the rest of the sessions. It doesn't mean that your Tai Chi life is over. It means that if you just look at what we did there and you do it properly and you do it over and over in a loop, you're getting all the benefits of Tai Chi. So let's look at this very carefully. The feet first. We begin with the feet pointing out. Because when we bow, if our feet are together, we don't have a platform to stand on. So we open the feet up, we bow. This is self-protection. Now I drop into my legs as the hands drop. But it's an illusion that I'm dropping into both legs. I'm actually moving the weight down on the right hip into the right leg so that there's nothing here in the left leg. Then I shift. The foot needs to come back in. I settle. I lift up into this Tai Chi breathing. I exhale. All the weight is now on my left. I shift. I'm on my heel. Toes are up. All the weight. The hip is over the knee is over the foot. Both hands are up. As if I'm very, very loosely holding a volleyball or a beach ball. I move forward. No weight here. I shift out on the heel. As I drop, I rub one hand across the other. The heel turns in, and I end up with this hand around, like a quarter of a circle in front of the chest. This hand soft next to my side, pointing down. And both feet pointing forward. I'm in what we call a front stance, but a high front stance. Toes a little bit out. This is a little bit too pinched in, hard to move from. This is a little bit easier. So we end up here. I'm going to do this 3 times. Ready? Okay, a few things about that. "45 square." I drop a little, and then I'm not lifting the arms up. Nothing is happening from the shoulders. The elbows are heavy. The wrists coming up. I'm not lifting this way. I'm lifting this way. And I want to imagine that there's a puppeteer who's controlling my motions. In other words, I don't have much agency. One has to give up agency to do the form well. Otherwise, we're trying to do something, whereas if we allow the body, it takes care of itself. So I'm imagining we have a filament, and as I drop, the puppeteer summons me. Up I come. I open the fingers. Now, also imagine that there is sand in your hands, in your arms. My fingers are heavy with sand, my elbows are heavy with sand. As the puppeteer lifts me, the sand runs out of the fingers into the elbows, but now the puppeteer lets me sink slowly, slowly. The sand is now coming into the hands, and the fingers are so heavy, and then once again I'm lifted. So there's a constant recalibration of imagined weight in the arm. thing is that from here, it's not like I step and then move the hands. It's not 1, 2. There's no sequence like that. Everything happens at the same time. Well, look, let's say we made Jell-O. When I was a kid, my mother would make Jell-O, and I liked Jell-O well enough. And sometimes when she put it in the refrigerator, I would open the refrigerator up to see if it was ready. And I noticed that the Jell-O didn't harden up on the bottom, then the middle, then the top. It didn't work that way. The whole thing gelled at once. So we have to imagine that we are gelling at once. From here, as I drop and step, as I move the center line, this hand automatically comes up and this hand comes down, so that everything, this hand, dropping the weight, the center line, all reach the same conclusion at the same time. Okay? Good. One more time, then we add a piece. Yeah, so what happens from here? I move the weight forward. All the weight is now over the left. The right is just a point. The toes are down, but there's no weight in it. I allow the hands to shift with the center line. As the center line and the hips move, the hands move. I'm once again holding the beach ball on my toes. Now, as I step, I turn. I rotate the heels. I come to, if that's north, then that's south. This is east. I go to southeast. I'm at a 45-degree angle. I drop back. All the weight is here. I once again hold the ball. I push forward and touch palm to palm. I drop back and I push. I don't extend. I always have a flex in the elbow. Okay, we're going to do just that section 3 times, then the whole thing twice. And that's good enough for today. Practice that at home, okay? Good. Okay, at what pace should it be done? So we know there are no time signatures. You're going at whatever pace you establish, you stick to that pace. There's no stop starting. That is terrible. But it might be that you're a little bit short on time. Might go a little faster. It might be that one morning you're feeling a little bit draggy. You have time to practice, but you want your energy to go up. could be that that same night you put in a long day, you need to settle down, you need to bring the energy down. So you might work at different paces depending on mood, on feeling of time of day, okay, season. So I'm going to do it once. It's always slow, but I'm going to do it at a faster, slow pace. Then I'm going to do it at a slow, slow pace. The slow, slow pace is so slow that it feels sometimes as if you're going to topple over, okay? So 2 more times. This is in the morning. I want to bring my energy up. You feel that you're moving. Now, night. Slow everything down. You jammed up. It's been a tough day. Slow everything down. That's relaxing. Let's end with carry tiger, return to mountain. We do this movement 3 times. Drop and lift. We're lifting the tiger off its base. We're returning him back up the mountain from whence he came. Left foot to right. We leave the tiger. Have a good week. Thank you for your practice.